welcome to the Cardano Sense DC Fund Daily Show, where we review at least 3 proposals that are fighting for funds, fighting for the Cardano bucket of cash that they're giving out or giving away or giving to good proposals every 6 to 8 weeks. My name's Anthony, and if this is your first time here, please like and subscribe. This is only my 5th episode. We're trying to grow this a bit. I want to do this live eventually, so that when I talk about these proposals, we can have maybe some back and forth with some community members. But I have to wait until I build up some followers before I can actually do that. So if you could like and subscribe, that would be a really big help. This is brought to you, my show today and always is brought to you by the CardanoFund.com website. I built this website as a supplement to IdeaScale. IdeaScale is where the proposals are actually built. This is a place you can go to look at the proposals without having to create an account, sign in, and do all that kind of stuff. And IdeaScale is a little hard to navigate when you first go there. But every single proposal that is on my website here is also on IdeaScale, and there's a link to the IdeaScale proposal. So if you wish to go to IdeaScale and look at it, please just click the link. It takes you right over to IdeaScale. I update this about once a week, but always before voting starts. So during voting, this will be updated 100%. The show is also brought to you by the Sophie Pool. This is my stake pool. We're doing fairly well, real quick. We've done about 88 lifetime blocks. The Cardano Fund did pledge to us last month, so that was a big help. There's about 13 million ADA. We made most of these blocks during that period, but still we're making blocks. We're down to a small stake pool again, about 500,000 ADA. But we are making 2 blocks in this epic, which is actually really good for 500,000 ADA. Okay, let's get down to business now. Let's get down to what I call the state of the fund. And this fund is Fund 3. So we're in Fund 3. We're essentially asking proposers to answer 2 questions. Either what dApps should be built to drive user adoption, number 1, or how can we encourage developers to build on top of Cardano? So these are the 2 kind of sections that you have to decide, that you have to they have to come up with an idea for or a proposal for. There's $500,000 being split between these two sections. The way it works is the proposal with the most votes will get their chunk of that 500,000. Whatever's left goes to the next highest voter and the next highest voter and the next highest voter. And there's 250,000 for each section there. What I do is I pick one section a night, randomize all the proposals, and then I start from the beginning and find 3 that I find interesting, that I think are interesting, and those are the 3 we go over. I encourage you all to look at these proposals yourself and read them, because we go over them pretty quick. I try to keep it under 3 minutes if I can. And they're all worth a read. If you're going to be voting, it's good to look at these proposals, especially if something I say kind of sparks your interest. Okay, so today we have the first proposal we're going to be going over here is called Legitimate Blockchain Solutions. Let me get to the first one here. Okay, Legitimate Blockchain Solution. Essentially, what this is a Brazilian startup. This is interesting, right? So this is a Brazilian startup that wants to prove Cardano's legitimacy in Brazil. All right, so follow me here. So I'm gonna read a little of this for you here. So the requested funds will be used to establish judicial validity for blockchain transactions according to the legal authorities in Brazil. Project submitters will fund a startup company in Brazil. Through this legal institution will guarantee the legality of Cardano's blockchain's transactions, blah, 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 blah. Down here, it says that it's important to notice the requested funds will be paid in ADA, so that we will also convert it to BRL, which I guess is their currency, and justify it for authorities. This will be, okay, so essentially what they're doing here, they want to start a little company and then donate some of ADA to a charity to show the government, right, that ADA is real and that it can be converted to currency. And this is, according to the proposal, it's because of some law in Brazil that they have to do this. Now I'm looking at this and I'm saying, well, that's kind of odd. I don't know. You know, I think this is more of a job for something like the Cardano Foundation. You know, they're supposed to be the ones kind of spreading Cardano around the world. But with that being said, they're only asking for $1,200, which is like nothing. It's a drop in the bucket. So I don't know. Strangely enough, I kind of believe them. Not that I wouldn't believe them, but I mean, I'm thinking this is legit. The fact they're asking for $1,200, and that's for 6 months worth of doing this work or setting this up. I just don't know if this is if this is in the right place. I think if you're only asking for $1,200 and your main purpose is to show the legitimacy of the blockchain, this might be something for the Cardano Foundation to look at and to kind of get involved with. So I don't know. So I sent them an email, and that's exactly what I told them. I said, you know, if you don't get funded, because it's possible they'll get funded. If they don't get funded, that's kind of the avenue that they should probably go down. But I think it is pretty interesting the way it's worded. Okay, so let's get to the next one. The next one is called Cardano TV Sports LED Advertising. So this is an advertising company that wants to. Oh, and by the way, the question we're answering with this is bringing more developers into the ecosystem. That's the one we're doing tonight. So this company essentially wants to advertise Cardano. Like in like a stadium, essentially just like normal advertising for developers. I kind of like this idea, but sometimes, you know, I'm afraid when people come up with ideas like this that are kind of more mainstream, that a lot of people that, especially people that are like first users of Cardano, a lot of people tend to think like technology-wise, like how are we going to bring developers in, and you know, and really putting up a big banner. In a soccer game, right? Isn't something you think about bringing developers in. But with that said, this company here is only asking for $16,000, and what they want to do with that is put a huge advertisement, and they have some. They do have some demos here. I don't know if we can look at this real quick. Something like this, but they want to put, I mean, this is not an actual demo, this is just something they're showing us. They want to put these big things, these big LED advertisements at 6 different big, like, professional soccer games. And the total cost is $16,000. $16,000 isn't that much money for that type of advertising. I've been in advertising before, and that's not bad. That comes out to like $2,700 per game. And if this thing is going to be shown at that game for any length of time, that's not too bad. And they'll probably try to get it into some good games. You know, when you first get a client, you try to get them the best space to kind of hold the client. I don't think this is a terrible idea. You know what I usually do? I'm sorry, I should have said this earlier, but usually we look at 3 different parts for each proposal: impact, feasibility, auditability. Impact is it going to do what it says it's going to do? Is it going to bring developers in? Feasibility are the people that are proposing this, are they able to do it? Auditability is, well, if they get the money, how can we make sure they're using it for what they need to use it for? So this project here, impact, feasibility, and auditability, I think are pretty much in line with what they want to do. I just think this might have they might have a tough time passing this by the Cardano community. I know there's some people in the community that are adamant about even YouTube channels bringing in developers, you know. So I don't know, but I think for the amount of money they're asking, this would be something to try. Why not try it? You know, I mean, we're giving away, or the fund is $500,000 every 6 to 8 weeks. It's going to go up to $1 million every 6 to 8 weeks. You know, can we take $16,000 and give this a shot? I would. I don't think it's a bad idea at all. Okay, let's move on to our last proposal for the day here. It's called Complete Cardano Training Center. I like this proposal. There's another proposal we went over that is like this proposal. And essentially what they want to do here is they want to create a spot. I'll read it. Cardano knowledge base is everywhere. People, they don't know where to start and how to learn. There's no simple way to prove or assess your skills. That's 100% true. Everything's all over the place because Cardano is doing so many things. Native Cardano e-learning platform allowing IOG, CF, etc. to create interactive courses, quizzes, credentials, blah, blah, blah on the blockchain. So essentially what they want to do is have a place where everybody who wants to learn about Cardano can come and learn. The Cardano Foundation, if they want to contribute some learning materials, they can do it. IOG, Emergo, I'd imagine, although Emergo has their own classes, which are actually pretty good. I would recommend them. I do like this idea. Let's go down the 3 factors here. Impact. We'll start with impact. Is there a problem? Is this a problem that needs to be solved? Absolutely. This absolutely is a problem. It's so hard to try to, if you want to do something, to try to find out where you have to go. It would be great to have one single space. Feasibility. Can these people do this? They say they're developers. The problem I have with this, and I wish more proposers would do this, they say they're developers, and I hate to say you have to prove it, but if you just leave a link to a GitHub or something that shows your experience, because there's so many proposals that come in here. Everyone says they're developers, but how do we know? You know, and I hate to say that because I like to believe everybody, but if you put a link to a GitHub or something that shows you're a developer, I tell you what, you'd be ahead of the game, way ahead of the game, because almost nobody does that. I'd say less than 1% of the proposals I see actually do that, or maybe around 1%. So that would really help in the feasibility, section. Auditability. Yes, this is true. They did actually do a nice little auditability, like a roadmap here. They don't have dates or anything, but this is pretty good. They're going to start with concept. They're going to make the UX UI at a high level. In other words, just kind of make what it's going to look like. They're going to make a prototype, and then so on and so forth. And you know what, another thing I like about this proposal is that they list the people that are going to be working on it. So they got 3 out of the 5 people. So look, they're still looking for, it looks like they got a developer, software solutions, someone involved in marketing, someone with technical director of a studio. But they're still looking for other people. So this is nice. It's good to see this because they got a couple people already, but they're still looking for people. This is a good place to put it. I like that. I like people that are upfront about the fact that, look, we got a lot of people, but maybe we need to get some more. I think this is great. I really like when I see that. And then they give a kind of a timeline, not with dates, but just kind of what they, the staff that they're going to have. 2 developers, 1 front end, so on and so on. The only thing I don't like about this is that they have this goal of $500,000 or $50,000, which I think is, I don't find that to be very high. I think that's reasonable. But they need to break it down a little more. We're using $1,000 for this, or about $3,000 for this, or the developers are going to be $15,000. It doesn't have to be perfect, but the advisors, we would like to see it broken down a little bit. The more you can do, the more you can break it down, the more specificity, the better chance you're going to get funded, especially this early on. In this process. But I like this proposal. I love the idea. I love this idea. There's another one we looked at a couple days ago. We need this, absolutely. If I hope they continue. If they don't get the money and they come back for the next round. Okay, next we're going to go into community chatter, I guess I'm calling it here. This is where I talk about what we're talking about in the community. We have a very talkative and active community advisor community. So what we're doing in the community, how this works, a quick rundown. So a proposer comes, and for about the first 4 weeks, they go back and forth with comments, with people are talking about their idea, and they revise the idea. Then there comes a certain point where community advisors look at their project for 1 week, and the community advisors say whether they rank them 1 to 5, right? Essentially, and say if they like the proposal. So when you vote, the number that you see, 1 to 5, that is done by that week with community advisors. Now, the issue with this, not really the issue, but we get rewarded to do that. So there's compensation to do this. So because there's compensation, you got a lot of people just jumping in and maybe not doing the job the right way. So after that week is up, we have another couple days where the proposers can come back and look at the reviews and kind of say, well, this doesn't make any sense. It doesn't seem like this person read this, or this review is fine. They'd have 48 hours to do that, 2 days. And then we come back again. Then some more senior community advisors come back and look at it. And they look, this is what the proposer said. This is what the review is. Does it make sense, or is this review just crap because someone wants to get some, they want to get money or get paid because they're a community advisor, but they really don't do anything. So that's what we're doing right now, and it's becoming a bit difficult to figure out the best way to do this. So that's kind of what we're talking about right now. We're talking about maybe using AI to help us out, or come up with a better way to do this, because there's just so much. There's like over 3,000 reviews we have to go through if we do have a review. So that's kind of what's going on in the community now. I will let you know how that goes, and what our solution is, or what the community solution is. I have a feeling this is going to drag on until the next fund. We'll probably tweak a little things, and then tweak a couple things, then try it in the next fund, and then kind of see how that goes, because we're getting real close to voting. And I believe tomorrow Fund 4 opens. So the idea phase of Fund 4 opens. In other words, just there's this week that I don't really understand why we're still doing it. But there's the first week of the proposal is like this idea week where you don't really propose things. You kind of propose ideas. So that starts, I believe, tomorrow. I'll let you know tomorrow if that started yesterday or tomorrow, whatever. So anyway, let's go to the closing here. The big closing is never that big. I don't have anything to say in the closing. So until tomorrow, and I'll let you know what's going on tomorrow. Have a good night. Take care.